Just do things that you really enjoy. Reward yourself for your accomplishments. Many people know the feeling that comes when you achieve something. It could be completing an educational milestone that you've been trying to do for years and adding a new qualification to yourself, or even being a good mother for a long time. These are all accomplishments. Even paying your bills, those are accomplishments for which you need to reward yourself. If, for example, you've achieved your health goals, why not splurge on something wonderful, a gift to yourself, just to yourself, to thank yourself for what you've done? All this goes towards better self-care. Remember the importance of allowing yourself to shine. When you've achieved something, when you've made a mark in someone's life, do not hide your light under a bushel. Accept that you've done well. There are many, many uncelebrated heroes out there. These are the policemen and women, nurses, doctors, our teachers, or anybody who serves others and serves humanity in the best possible way. You should appreciate yourself, because if you don't, who will? Do it yourself and always feel good about everything that you have achieved. This has been Self-Care Tips. I am Irene Joroge.
What do you want?
You're a cheater.
Pinky, were you thinking you would divorce Jack and then raise the baby on your own? Is that it?
Pink, it's my baby. So think about it. If I gave up on Pinky and the baby and continue seeing you, what kind of father would I be?
Get out. Come on, get out.
God, Shannon.
To get Romans chapter 10 as your skiza tune on your phone, dial star 811 star 962 hash.
If you declare with your mouth Jesus is Lord and believe in your heart that God raised him from the dead, you will be saved. Romans chapter 10 verse 9.
To get Romans chapter 10, dial star 811 star 962 hash. Star 811 star 962 hash.
To all our prospective candidates, are you an aspiring candidate in the upcoming general elections? Do you want your agenda and manifesto to reach your voters effectively? At KBC, we have the most comprehensive and credible online platform that has profiles of all prospective candidates. Log on to www.kbc.co.ke/2022 aspirants and let Kenyans know more about you, your past achievements, your manifesto, and your development agenda once you get elected to office. What's more, the website is easy to navigate. We will create your profile, post pictures and short videos with your campaign messages at affordable hosting fees. Log on to www.kbc.co.ke/2022 aspirants today and establish your brand authority as we lead towards the forthcoming general elections.
Good evening and welcome to KBC Prime, bringing you the eye on the news.
It's Monday, the 28th of February 2022. It's the last day of this month of love. Okay, I hope you had yourself a fantastic day. We have the latest news from around the country and of course the globe.
And the bulletin begins right now with our top stories. A deadly Monday. 11 people perish in separate accidents in Kisii and Isiolo counties.
War on COVID-19. Governors take credit for low infection rates in the hinterlands.
Strive for inclusion. Political parties challenged to involve special interest groups. Welcome to the broadcast. My name is Mboya.
My name is Museo. Lensa Odingo is our sign language interpreter tonight. Feel free to interact with us. We are live on all our social media platforms, including Twitter at KBC Channel 1 News, at Purity_Museo, at Mboya24. The hashtag is Prime Edition.
11 people have lost their lives in separate accidents across the country. 6 people, among them 2 children, died in Isiolo when a truck veered off the road and rammed into buildings. 5 others
died in a grisly road accident involving a public service vehicle and a stationary trailer at Nyabioto along the Kisii-Nyamira Road. Ruth Mboya begins our coverage tonight.
6 people, among them 2 children, lost their lives after a truck veered off the road. The driver of the lorry lost control and hit a woman and 2 children before ramming into a wall and 3 buildings belonging to the East African Pentecostal Church.
Mambo hii imetupata saa hizi tumesikia tukiwa na huzuni kubwa sana kwa sababu kuna mmoja wetu ambaye ni mwanabodaboda ambaye amepoteza watoto wake.
Unakuta hata saa nyingine si gari imekata break, ni ulevi ndio unafanya. Unakuta mtu anajaribu kukimbizana. Hii barabara si ya barabara ya US ambaye hakuna bumps. Hii barabara ina wakazi wengi. Kuna soko kubwa hapa ambaye ina cost more than 10,000. Hii Isiolo town. Afadhali hata huyo ameloi amesaidia akaingia hapa, angeingia soko angemaliza wazazi wetu.
When we approximate, tunapo estimate, it is coming to around 20 million damage.
12 other people are nursing injuries at the Isiolo County Referral Hospital, with 4 in critical condition.
Isiolo irudishe speed bumps kwa sababu inasaidia hata madereva kupunguza.
In Kisii County, 5 people perish in a greasy road accident involving a public service vehicle and a stationary trailer at Nyabioto along Kisii-Nyamira Road. 4 others who were seriously injured were rushed to Kisii Teaching and Referral Hospital.
The 2 with head injuries have already been evaluated and are already on treatment and management by specialists in those specific areas.
Residents are pleading with the government to construct speed bumps at the accident to avert future incidents.
Walikuwa watu 5 walikufia hapo, wengine tuwatoa ndani, lakini tunaomba serikali tu iangalie barabara na waangalie madereva wetu waturinde.
The grisly accident comes in the wake of ongoing talks between NTSA and Matatu operators leadership in Nairobi.
We have agreed that they will try and ensure that they become as humane as possible to ensure that road safety interests are taken care of, but also investor interests are taken care of, noting that we have just come out of corona situation. And
Ruth Wamboy for Prime Edition.
Now let's move over now to education matters, where Education Cabinet Secretary Professor George Magoha now says that the education system will not be affected by the transitional politics. He made the remarks in Murang'a County, where he commissioned junior secondary school classrooms at Gatuto, Gathinjia, and which other schools?
And Kahuhia Girls High Schools in Kahuro Sub-County. Magoha said that the current education system is intact and embedded on a solid base that can weather any political transformation.
That's right. Timothy Kipnusu is on that.
Even as the country enters heated campaigns in the readiness for the August 9th polls, the Ministry of Education has assured Kenyans that the current education system will not be affected by the outcome of the August polls.
The fact that there is going to be a transition in government does not matter. The fact that me and my team shall not be there does not really matter. The children are very well taken care of as per the Constitution.
Education Cabinet Secretary Professor George Mboya says education programs are designed to be completed as scheduled.
I think it is now true that all the books have been delivered to all schools in preparation for grade 6 in May. In terms of the teachers were trained early in December. In terms of the assessments that shall be done for them, the assessments are ready.
He at the same time said the ministry has sealed loopholes for cheating in the national examination.
I would also want to disabuse the minds of the people. That exam has not leaked. Of course, the cartels are there and they are doing their business as usual. But if you want to do business with them, then that's your own business.
Elsewhere, the government has been urged to assure learners in the volatile parts of Laikipia County of their security as they sit for their national examinations beginning next week.
Tunaelekea mambo ya exam ya watoto wetu. Tunataka serikali iweze kulinda watoto wetu area Olmoran, Lonyek, Magadi kwa sababu huko ndio kuna usalama. Tunataka serikali itie nguvu kwa upande huo.
And the National Government Constituency Development Fund has moved in to relocate one of the largest learning institutions from the National Youth Service grounds in Naivasha. NYS Primary School, which for years has been operating in the training school, will be relocated to new grounds following security concerns by the parents and management of the institution.
Kila kitu ambayo inatakikana kwa shule tutakuja naye. Ile haiko tutanunua. Tuko prepared kuhamisha kila kitu. Tuachie NYS mambo yao watumie pale.
Sababu area ni kidogo, kumekuwa na shida ya vyo, sewage, sisi tuko chini, shule iko pande ya chini.
Timothy Kipnosu for Prime Edition.
The Council of Governors is now claiming credit for the low COVID-19 numbers being reported across the country. The governors say the use of technology and adoption of health innovation has helped counties to successfully deal with patient treatment, screening, as well as contact tracing. Here is that report.
The first case of the novel coronavirus in March 2020, and amid the uncertainty, scientists both at the national and county level worked round the clock to seek a solution to a disease that had even claimed the lives of top health specialists in the country. 2 years into the pandemic, the Council of Governors has launched a consortium showcasing the success stories and best practices adopted by counties on COVID-19 response.
The compendium we are today launching contain a compilation of innovative measures taken by the county government and in dealing with the pandemic.
In preparation for the rising incidence of positive COVID-19 cases, Machakos County, for instance, converted its stadium, the Kenyatta Stadium, into a temporary hospital for mass testing and isolation to treat mild and moderate COVID-19 infections. While in April 2021, Kericho County adopted the use of radiology to test COVID-19 and initiate treatment on time.
County governments have to think on their feet and generate solutions to manage the spread of COVID-19 and the impact of the virus on population.
In Nyandarua County, for instance, we have already registered 30,000. They're called indigents, people who are most vulnerable. And of course, we are moving to the general populations so that they all get into universal health care.
The Council of Governors now wants the healthcare sector to make use of telemedicine in order to achieve universal health coverage for all, saying the technique has worked in the case of the COVID-19 pandemic response.
It is very difficult to be treated today in Kenya, and I'm hoping that's something that will be looked into. Even the treatment in private hospitals must be brought down. We are overcharging our people. A small operation, 1 million shillings. It is not sustainable.
Healthcare is a right to the people of Kenya. So it's a program that is endless. It has to continue, it has to be successful.
In other news, political parties have been urged to take advantage of the newly amended Political Parties Act to realize the elusive inclusion aspect in political positions. Registrar of Political Parties Andy Ritu says political parties must deliberately involve special interest groups in elective and nomination posts to receive 15% of the political parties fund. The Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission (IEBC) has meanwhile said guidelines to ensure political parties realize the inclusion aspect are ready, and the Commission will be engaging parties on its implementation. Kamcha Menza has that report.
Political parties will now have to go out of their way to bring on board special interest groups as stipulated in the law.
Look at the different structures of the society in terms of the ones that are marginalized so that they come on board. And it must be affirmative action, which is a deliberate effort to do that on the part of the party. And I know they are committed to do that.
With about 160 days until the general elections, a multi-agency team and political parties convened a consultative meeting to deliberate on how to promote meaningful and greater participation of special interest groups ahead of the August 9th general elections.
It is upon you political parties to ensure that actually you provide the environment, a safe environment in which there is strong participation of people with special interests.
This will solve a problem, particularly at the local level, where we have to add and add until we get to the 2/3. So if we get the right proportion from the elections, then we don't have to nominate.
We will consider setting aside a proportion of nominations for all elective positions to women candidates in every county. We therefore ask women, youth, and persons with disability to present their candidature for competitive elections.
National Gender and Equality Commission has come out to declare that it will fight any form of discrimination in the political party nominations.
As we move to August 9th general elections, and also to the party primaries and the whole process, I want to assure you that the National Gender and Equality Commission will monitor each and every process. And this is not a threat. I usually say I'm a perennial petitioner. There are those things that we shall find that will require us to go to court.
According to IEBC, bottlenecks and legislative hurdles still exist in realizing the inclusion aspect.
We recall the introduction of legislation to ensure that special interest groups are represented in decision-making bodies of political parties. We may want to ask ourselves if this has had an effect on giving women a face or a platform within the political parties.
The Commission, however, says guidelines to ensure political parties realize the inclusion aspect is ready and will be engaging the parties on how to implement it. Kamche Menza for Prime Edition.
Now, education stakeholders from the Lake Region Economic Bloc have signed a memorandum of understanding to establish a center of excellence in health education as well as training. The center, to be domiciled at Kisii University, will serve as a regional hub for healthcare, research and training of advanced level medical personnel for Kenya and East African countries. Here is that report.
With the funding from the UK Export Finance, an estimated 30 billion shillings will be invested in the project, which will be domiciled at Kisii University, with Maseno, Masinde Muliro and Egerton to serve as ports. Health Principal Secretary Dr. Susan Mochache said the centre will focus on offering programs that build the capacity of health professionals in the country, such as telemedicine.
We cannot realize universal health coverage without reviewing, reinterrogating, rethinking the curriculum or that we have for training of health workers in the country. So this project will already set the universities that are going to be involved a step higher than the others and begin to set the paces.
Dr. Mochache noted that the collaboration has had numerous benefits to Kenya, even as she described the upcoming centre as a catalyst to the transformative change in healthcare delivery.
I also wish to note that this will not only poise the counties to offer very good service, but it will also poise us to offer medical tourism, considering that a lot of the counties here are actually on the borders of the international borders of our country.
The governors present, led by Lake Region Economic Bloc Chair and Kakamega Governor Wycliffe Oparanya, lauded the development, terming it a huge step to the realization of the universal health coverage.
The milestone that we are witnessing this afternoon under the Kenya-UK Health Alliance Partnership will see 4 pilot universities that are here, namely Kisii University, Maseno University, Masinde Muliro University of Science and Technology, and Egerton University, participate effectively in this collaboration project.
We, on the other hand, will continue to develop a robust health system which is digitalized and integrated at all levels, right from patient interaction to the facility level, to supply chains and even intermediate in telemedicine.
So this KUKA program then would provide us a platform for bilateral knowledge, exchange, and even capacity improvements.
Vice President, University of Manchester, Professor Graham Lord, who addressed the meeting virtually, reassured of United Kingdom's commitment to improving healthcare in Kenya through collaborations.
There is much learning that we in the UK need to do, friends and partners in Kenya. And actually, since we started this conversation, just to give an example of how this partnership is shaping what we are doing in Manchester and the whole of the UK, equitable healthcare driven by academic insight is now one of the major focuses of the University of Manchester.
The vice-chancellors from the 4 universities committed to partake in the establishment and running of the centre in their respective capacities. Wycliffe Okech, Prime Edition, Kisumu County.
Well, that story brings us to our first break right here on KBC Prime.
Keep talking to us on Twitter. Remember to tag KBC Channel 1 News, and I'll be going through your feedback during and before the tail end of this broadcast. Stay with us.
Nabonga na watoi kujua mambo za online, pia na create time wafanye vitu offline. Tungeni gadgets na sites wana use, siwache strangers wapate chance kuabuse.
Nimeshindaje presto kompe sija participate. Unadai info yangu na ikwe private. Identity yangu haupati autumii. Vitu zangu ni zangu na bado nitazishikilia.
Una post story ati ni real news.
Mpaka nione sasa hizo news.
Una text online to me to
refuse. Staki jokes sana nitakureport for real.
Wazazi, watoi na maithu wetu. Don't be fooled. Get cyber smart and enjoy safe entertainment and education online.
The Communications Authority of Kenya. Mawasiliano kwetu, nguvu kwako.
We are still keen on Germany's DFB Pokal as the quarter-finals is around the corner. In football, it is easy to be intimidated by the top-flight teams, but as fate would have it, new entrants do sometimes turn the tables with their patience, perseverance, and self-belief.
Borussia Dortmund are out of the competition. St. Pauli take all the spoils.
It is therefore a tight affair this Tuesday, 1st of March 2022 at 10:45 p.m. in a match pitting Union Berlin against FC St. Pauli. Watch this spectacular duel live and exclusive on KBC Channel 1. KBC, your true sports partner.
Log on to the KBC website at www.kbc.co.ke to get the latest breaking news, entertainment, sports, politics,
lifestyle, or business trends from Kenya and around the world. Never miss new episodes from your favorite TV shows, reruns, and movies. Just stream online or watch live on your YouTube channel at KBC Channel 1 TV shows. For the day's biggest stories, trustworthy news, and family entertainment, log on to KBC Channel 1. Watch what you want anytime, anywhere.
Welcome back. Thank you so much for staying with Prime Edition. United Democratic Alliance UDA Treasurer Omingo Magara has resigned from the position, citing hurdles by some unnamed quarters to realize his position or political ambition. His resignation coming few hours after his party leader, Deputy President William Ruto, left the country on a foreign trip.
Speaking in Kisii town, Magara claimed that he had been yearning to become area governor but found it impossible through the UDA party. He, however, said he was consulting with his supporters to get a bearing on which political formation he should engage with to realize his dream.
My political future and ambitions must be sufficiently addressed, cannot be sufficiently addressed by the UDA party. I therefore immediately resign as a party member and as a treasurer. I continue talking to other political players with a view to finding political suitors that align with my vision for Kenya.
Elsewhere, Nairobi senatorial aspirant Samuel Masaki has formally presented his bid to the United Democratic Alliance Party. Masaki expressed his confidence of capturing the seat once he gets the nod from UDA.
Let's have a free and fair process, and also let's sell our agenda to the people, to the Nairobi County, to the people and to the young people, to ensure that we get the best suited position and the best suited candidate to flag this ticket with the other candidates.
Nairobi gubernatorial aspirant Anne Kagure has promised to improve the livelihoods of Nairobians and revive stalled projects if she gets elected for the Nairobi County top seat. Speaking in Nairobi's Eastland area, Kagure assured the youth that her government will give them the first priority in terms of job opportunities.
The Nairobi County, the last time that they had mass recruitment in employing people was the year 1998. Those are 23 years ago. There are those who have retired. There are those who have gotten greener pastures. There are those who have probably even passed on. I am going to make sure that I restructure and we employ more people. We are also going to eliminate the Kajo system.
This as Machakos gubernatorial aspirant Wavinya Ndeti maintains that plans to have Oka sign coalition pact with Azimio la Umoja movement are still on. Speaking during the fundraiser at ABC Kadhangadhini Church in Machakos County, Wavinya said the leadership of Azimio la Umoja will be based on a three-legged stool and that they will still have hopes that Kalonzo will be the coalition's flag bearer.
Cha muhimu ni tuchukue hii nchi yetu, tuiweke kama nchi moja na tuwe na uongozi mwema katika nchi yetu ya Kenya. Tunataka uongozi wa amani, tunataka viongozi watulivu, viongozi wale wanaweza kukaa vizuri hata na zile nchi zingine.
The scales of justice now. Meru Senator Mithika Linturi is a free man after the prosecution failed to prefer charges against him within the allocated time. The senator has been out on a 2 million shilling cash bail following accusations that he made hateful remarks at a political rally in Eldoret.
Speaking in Kisii town, Magara claimed that he had been yearning.
Nakuru Chief Magistrate Edna Nyaloti on Monday directed the release of Senator Linturi's 2 million shillings cash bill and closed the case in which the senator was battling a hate speech charge. Nyaloti said the prosecution had failed to make its case against the senator within the 15 days it had been given to do so. Senator Linturi allegedly made hateful remarks on January the 8th at a rally in Eldoret.
And granted the DPP a last adjournment to make up their mind to either charge the respondent or withdraw the application. And this miscellaneous application is withdrawn, the file be closed, and the cash bail be released to the depositor.
Elsewhere, 3 independent electoral and boundaries commission officers have been found guilty of fraud and colluding to change tender documents for solar lanterns meant for the 2013 general elections. Chief Magistrate Lawrence Mugambi also convicted 2 directors of Solarmark Technologies for forging tax compliance certificate in the fraud case that led to the loss of 147 million shillings. The 5 will be sentenced on Tuesday.
The second accused and the second and the accomplice and witness were preyed on by the 4th accused, largely for their inexperience and ignorance of the applicable law. As already explained, one cannot cite vulnerability and ignorance of law to escape criminal culpability.
Finally, EACC forensic expert Alex Kinyanjui says he obtained 14 mobile transactions linking Samburu Governor Moses Leonard Kulal and other accused persons in the 84 million shillings fuel supply scandal. Kinyanjui told the court that he had stumbled upon invoices totaling to 76.4 million shillings entered into the IFMAS system by Samburu County in favor of Oryx Service. Kinyanjui told the court that he had stumbled upon invoices totaling 76.4 million shillings entered into the IFMAS system by Samburu County in favor of Oryx Service, a company claimed to be owned by the governor and Hezbon Dathi. Serafina Robi for
Across our borders, high-level talks between Kiev and Moscow are taking place at the Ukraine-Belarus border as the war between Russia and Ukraine enters day 5 before the meeting. Ukraine President Volodymyr Zelensky urged Russian troops to lay down their weapons and called for immediate intervention by the European Union. This as European Union for the first time in history provided £450 million to fund weapons for Ukraine.
Who was that who was calling for the talks?
On the 5th day of Russian invasion of Ukraine, negotiators for Kiev and Moscow hold talks in Belarus, but expectations of workable outcomes are slim. Ukraine President Volodymyr Zelensky, while calling for ceasefire to allow talks, described the next 24 hours crucial for Ukraine. According to UN, more than 500,000 people have fled their homes to escape the war. Ukraine's health ministry says civilian death toll now stands at 352 people, including 14 children. Despite the pace of Russia's assault slowing down in the last 24 hours, residents of major cities in Kyiv, Kharkiv, and Chernihiv remain indoors and underground. Ukraine's president has indicated intentions to release prisoners with military experience to boost the Ukraine's defense, even as he calls on his citizens to be armed. European Union has met and resolved to support Ukraine by providing £450 million worth of weapons. Belarus and Chechen, however, have indicated intention to deploy their soldiers in Ukraine to assist Russia. Yeshoke Washira, Prime Edition.
Here now is an update on the COVID situation in the country. Kenya has recorded 37 new COVID-19 cases from a sample size of people who have tested positive for the disease. From a sample size, of 5,894 tested over the last 24 hours, the positivity rate is now at 0.6%. 10 patients have recovered from the disease, all of them from the home-based isolation care. One patient, however, sadly succumbed to the disease, which is a late death reported after conducting facility record audits in the month of February 2022. 16.5 million vaccines have so far been administered across the country. Proportion of adults fully vaccinated was 27.7%. The government is working towards vaccinating a target population of 27,246,033. Now, Justice Martha Koome has challenged advocates to minimize applications seeking adjournment of cases in a bid to ensure administration of justice to vulnerable members of the society. The CJ was speaking at the Supreme Court as she presided over admission of 144 lawyers to the role of advocates.
114 lawyers have been admitted to the role of advocates by Chief Justice Martha Koome. The CJ, who presided over the ceremony together with the Registrar of the Judiciary, representative from the Attorney General's Office and the Director of Public Prosecution, urged the newly admitted advocates to address the justice gap by ensuring justice is administered to the vulnerable members of the society on time.
No, we have a big problem of communication, and you are coming in to bridge that gap of helping our people to talk to each other and find solutions to the problems that they create, because they are capable of finding solutions to the problems that they themselves create.
She stressed on the need of keeping abreast with the law and urged the advocates to avoid unnecessary case adjournment in order to curb delayed delivery of justice.
We are also opening opportunities for our people to access justice through the small claims courts, which is a game changer. We have now opened 11 small claims courts all over the country. We are hoping to open some more, and probably by the end of the year, 100.
Of course, I'm very much optimistic, and I'm very much ready to give all it takes.
It is a very momentous occasion for me and for my career, so I'm very excited at what the future holds, and it's just the beginning, so I encourage more people to go for it.
The newly admitted advocates now join the group of other 20,000 advocates who have been admitted to practice law. The city is challenging the newly admitted advocates to embrace professional ethics as they administer justice to vulnerable members of the society. Reporting for Prime Edition from the Supreme Court in Nairobi, my name is Frederick Mwoki.
Minimize application seeking adjournment in court cases. Well, that story brings us to our second break. Betty Kiptum.
On the other side of the studio, ready for business news.
Where is she? There she is. Betty Kiptum.
She'll be joining you shortly with the day's business. Stay tuned for that.
Stay with us. We'll be back shortly.
Do you have a news story to share with KBC? Get in touch swiftly on email news@kbc.co.ke or call 0723-892-654 or 0734-780-124.
This week on Good Morning Kenya.
The health system in Siaya has improved greatly. Yes. Because previously, before we came in, even child mortality rate was very high.
Governor Kanel Rasanga has steered the county of Siaya for 10 years now.
Did you ever see at some point that the president and Honorable Raila Odinga would shake hands?
I never imagined it.
What is his opinion on national politics?
The way Uhuru has now come to support Raila for presidency, that is a very big mark. That is like rubbing out tribalism completely from in this country.
Join me this Wednesday on The Viewpoint at 7:30 a.m. on Good Morning Kenya, only on KBC Channel 1.
Thank you for staying with Prime Edition. My name is Betty Kiptum. Let's get into the business. Kenya will continue its horticulture exports to Russia despite the crippling trade restrictions imposed on the country by the United States and its Europe allies. Livestock Principal Secretary Harry Kimtai says the government is yet to receive any communications on trade restrictions and will resume exports of avocado to Russia on the 4th of next month. Russia is engaged in a major war with its neighbor Ukraine for the last 4 days now.
According to officials from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Kenya is studying the restriction to see how they will affect the country after some Russian banks were cut off from the global SWIFT financial system over the weekend. Russia is the second largest market for Kenyan avocados after the European Union, with Moscow being the largest foreign market for the Kenyan Fuerte avocado variety.
We shall open officially on the 4th day of March 2022 so that our exporters, our farmers, our value chain actors can be able now to celebrate the milestone in getting back into the market.
With Kenya resuming export of the Fuerte variety next week, the government says a shipment of the fruit to Russia will continue as scheduled, as over 25 avocado exporters are yet to receive any order cancellation from Russian buyers.
From these countries, the two countries that are fighting, so we expect that we are going to make adequate preparations to ensure that there is continuous flow of trade in terms of inputs. If it is going to affect us, we shall make plans to change the suppliers so that we produce more to support those countries that are going to receive the refugees from Ukraine. So in one way, I think it is important for us to ensure that we make sure that our farmers are able to supply on short notice.
The development comes as avocado export volumes to China are expected to increase after an agreement was reached last week for the Far East nation to start accepting fresh avocado instead of frozen pieces.
Internal systems, what they care is that you are not sending them anything that has any quarantine pest. What they care is that there is no exceedance of pesticide above the required limit. What they care is that it is safe for consumption.
The first consignment of the fresh fruit is expected to hit the Chinese market in May this year.
We envisage within the shortest time possible, then they'll be able to make contacts into Kenya, and we can be able to have probably some consignments leaving even as early as May or thereabout.
Kenya exported 85 tons of avocado last year, representing an increase from 70 tons on the previous year, netting the country 14 billion shillings. Benson Rioba reporting for Prime Edition.
Now, Kenya's annual inflation dropped to 5.08% in February from 5.4% a month in January on account of cheap electricity and improved rainfall that has eased the cost of foodstuff. According to the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics, the housing, water, electricity, gas and other fuels index increased by 0.12% between January 2022 and February 2022.
The Consumer Price Index in the country is based on the expenditures of both urban and rural households. The most important categories in the CPI went up mainly due to an increase in prices of commodities under food and non-alcoholic beverages, furnishings, household equipment, among others. The Food and Non-Alcoholic Drinks Index, which comprises over a third of the inflation basket, rose to 8.7% from a year ago due to the increase in the cost of items such as vegetables and cooking oil that compare with 8.9% a month prior. Housing, water, electricity, gas and other fuels index, with a weighting of 14.6% in the inflation basket, grew to 4.8% from 5.1% last month, helped by a 15% cut on electricity tariffs effective from January. The index increased by 0.4% from an index of 118.6% in January 2022 to 119 in February 2022. The month-to-month food and non-alcoholic beverages index increased by 0.83% between January 2022 and February 2022. This was mainly attributed to an increase in prices of some food items, which outweighed the decrease in prices of others. The transport index also increased by 0.04% between January 2022 and February 2022. Ndutamo Kami for Prime Edition.
And 8 out of 10 infrastructure projects in Africa fail at the inception stage, according to the African Union. The poor turnaround of projects is being blamed for the low intra-Africa trade, which currently stands at less than 15%. The African Union High Representative for Infrastructure Development, Raila Odinga, says African leaders need to engage the private sector in funding stalled projects to trigger progress.
Africa's infrastructure need stands at between $130 billion and $170 billion every year. However, the funding falls short by $68 billion and $108 billion, impacting negatively the continent's infrastructure development. Delegates attending the 7th Program for Infrastructure Development in Africa have raised concerns with a slow turnaround of infrastructural projects on the continent. African Union High Representative for Infrastructure Raila Odinga says the African continent is lagging behind in development due to many cases of stalled projects, with most of the funds meant for implementation going into unnecessary feasibility tests.
Experts and potential partners are beginning to talk of Africa's infrastructure paradox, a situation where there is extremely high demand for projects, sufficient supply of capital and investors, and voluminous potential projects, but there is insufficient investment in infrastructure projects within the continent.
The government says it is working on a framework to incorporate MSMEs to take up small-scale infrastructure projects in order to complement interconnectivity across the continent to facilitate better trade.
We are also faced with the grim reality of climate change. Extreme weather events are occurring with increased frequency and intensity, resulting in significant damage to infrastructure.
Trade Cabinet Secretary Betty Maina says the private sector can be a key player in infrastructure development, where the government is incapable of providing seamless growth where there were stalled projects.
We remain very open, and we've seen a lot of innovation in this field because of the open space that has been created by government for dialogue with the private sector.
Within that space where government is not able to fund all the infrastructural projects, an opportunity for private-public partnership has presented itself.
The 3-day meeting brings together more than 1,000 thought leaders from across the continent to take stock of Africa's infrastructural progress and come up with ways to deal with the bottlenecks. And so infrastructure development talks across the continent kicks off here at the capital, and we are hoping with policy changes that we will be able to see a feasible change in infrastructure in the country. Reporting for Prime Edition from KICC, my name is Ibak Said.
Thank you, Hibak Said, for that report. Now, the development of the multi-billion shilling Naivasha Special Economic Zone will start in 3 months after close to 100 investors expressed interest in the 50-acre parcel of land located near the inland container depot in Maimahiu. This is part of the government's effort to ease the cost of doing business in Kenya and create business opportunities.
2 years ago, the government hived 50 acres from the original 1,000 acres set for an industrial park and donated it to Nakuru County for small and medium enterprises. Furthermore, Kenya offered lower electricity tariffs to attract investors to the Naivasha Special Economic Zone. Among major projects expected on the land and around the 10-kilometer buffer zone includes banks, housing estates, petroleum and hotels, which will be served by the standard gauge railway. According to the Chief Officer for Lands, Judilea Waihenya, 77 investors had been cleared ahead of the works, which are expected to change the fortunes of the semi-arid area. Speaking during a public participation forum on the land, Waihenya said that they expected the county assembly to pass the proposed plan for the economic zone in 3 months.
We have held back subdivision, we have held back approval of developments, awaiting this plan approval. So today we know that in 90 days we will be able to present this to the assembly, get approval and start serious works within Maimahiu, and more specifically to align ourselves to the socio-economic zone.
Waihenya added that the county had banned any subdivision of land or development around the 10-kilometer buffer zone so as to prepare a master plan and exuded confidence that the area will turn the fortunes of the area residents due to the number of investments on the ground.
The inland container depot is already up and running. We have appraised all those who are interested. We will be giving them an opportunity to start their works and break grounds. So in the next 6 months, we expect a lot of activity in this area to complement the needs that are already upcoming in the container inland depot.
The inland container depot is operational and the county and the government are planning for water, electricity, housing and waste management. Reporting for Prime Edition, I am Teresa Mutai.
And that story brings us to the end of business news, but sports news is coming up with Karen Kibet. She is ready to bring you the latest in the sports arena. See you in a bit.
It's a special night. The visitors go through. It's a night to remember.
Thank you for keeping it KBC Prime Edition. It's now time for us to take a look at what's making headlines in the world of sports. My name is Karen Kibet. Now, India are the likely hosts of the 44th edition of the Chess Olympiad, which was set to be held in Russia in July this year. Due to Russia's invasion of the Republic of Ukraine, Russia has been stripped of hosting rights of the tournament, with India the only country that has shown interest in hosting the event that was initially set for the city of Moscow.
This year's Chess Olympiad will not be held in Russia as earlier planned after the International Chess Federation FIDE decided to strip the city of Moscow the hosting rights of the global event due to the ongoing conflict between Russia and Ukraine. A statement from the FIDE Council read, FIDE Council has decided that the 44th Chess Olympiad, including the competition for players with disabilities, as well as the FIDE Congress, will not take place in Russia. FIDE will do its most best to find another organizer for the Olympiad and in due time provide information on the location and date of FIDE Congress 2022, the statement read. India is the only country to have placed a bid to host the event as of now, but FIDE is still open to bidding rights from other nations ahead of the tournament, set to be held from the 26th of July to 8th of August. Kenya had already selected a team of 10 players to compete in the biennial tournament after a 3-month selection process.
National men's basketball team Kenya Morans has been eliminated from the 2023 FIBA World Cup qualifiers after losing their third consecutive match 100-55 to host Senegal in Dakar. The Cliff Awards Chargers had lost their 2 opening matches to Democratic Republic of Congo and Egypt respectively.
Pulls up, long 2 is good, nothing but net. He's such a smooth.
Kenya Morans came into the match aiming to register the elusive win at the qualifiers.
Couple of fakes and he can't get it to go. And they're just bouncing off him. And oh my!
The Cliff Award Chargers, led by foreign-based duo Preston Bungei and Joel Awich, put up a brave fight in the first quarter against the hosts, but went down 28-10.
To pull away early, as I'm sure they'd like to have done. Ndoye just steps through.
Powerhouse Senegal went on to win the second quarter 25-19 to send the match into the breather, Senegal leading 53-29.
The big fella, and another big dunk by Mboya.
After resumption, Morans could not match the highly charged Senegal side, losing the third and fourth quarters 21-13 and 26-13 respectively.
Shot clock running down. He's going to have to do something quick. Bounce pass. They need to get it up, and they do. And it's good.
Preston Bungei was Kenya's top scorer with 19 points, while Yusufa Ndoye scored 21 points for Senegal.
They go all the way across. Badio D3 is good from one side of the floor to the other.
The loss dimmed Kenya's hopes of advancing to the second phase of the qualifiers.
To Karenga. Shots up from Bungei is good for three.
The second leg of the 2023 FIBA World Cup qualifiers will be held in July this year.
Oh, what a way to get to 100 points on the alley-oop. Worth the timeout and worth the wait.
Thank you, Karanja, for that report. Moving on, Limuru-based junior golfer Leo Gitonga emerged the winner of the second leg of the Safaricom Golf Tour held at the Limuru Country Club course. Meanwhile, Kenya Brewers Limited has announced a 69.5 million shilling sponsorship for the 2022 Magical Kenya Open Golf Tournament, set to be held between the 3rd and 6th of next month here in Nairobi.
The 2022 Magical Kenya Open is set to take place from the 3rd to the 6th of March this year at the Muthaiga Golf Club, bringing together 156 golfers from Kenya and across the world, including 8 Kenyan professionals and 6 Kenyan amateurs who will battle it out for a chance to win the biggest slice of the 226 million shillings prize purse.
Please come in all your numbers. Come and watch the Magical Kenya Open. Experience the golf and experience all that we have for you in the Kenya Open.
Meanwhile, Limuru-based junior golfer Leo Gitonga emerged the winner of the second leg of the Safaricom Tour held at the Limuru Country Club course. Gitonga becomes the second winner to secure a slot in the grand finale of the Safaricom Tour, set to be held in Vipingo Ridge, Kilifi County in August this year. He joins Cyprian Bundi from Nanyuki, the winner of the first leg. Susan Koinange, playing a handicap of 45, garnered 42 points and won the ladies' title. After Limuru, the tournament proceeds to Muthaiga Golf Club on 12th of next month before heading to the Nyanza Golf Club.
Yesterday, I started pretty badly. My first shot went pretty off. It went really low and just almost went out of bounds, but I kept a good attitude, and that's really all what golf is. It's all about the attitude.
For Prime Edition Sports, I'm Daniel Mwendwa.
Thank you, Dan, for that report. Now, finally, Western Jaguars and Amira Ladies were crowned the champions of the 3rd edition of the Parkland Sports Club Hockey Tournament, which was played at the Parklands, Nairobi. Amira beat DFG Wolverines 2-1, while Jaguars beat Sheikh Simba 2-1 through post-match penalties.
Western Jaguars captain Ivan is optimistic that his team will finish among the top 2 in the forthcoming league, where they play in the Premier Tier.
For the league, I must say it has been a long time coming with the lockdown. So the resumption, as a team, we are really prepared, and our main objective will be to qualify for the African Club Championships and, of course, to win the league.
They were recently crowned as the Mulembe tournament winners that was held in Kakamega early this month. Amira, on the other side, are positive that the 2 years break due to COVID-19 has given the team a chance to re-evaluate their game plan and will secure a good run in the 2022 league.
Our expectations for the league, after the 2 years, I think we expect to pick up from where we left, and our target is, of course, to be top 2. And we are just happy the league is back.
The tournament was used to prepare teams for the new Kenya Hockey League season, which is expected to begin on 5th of March. However, few ladies teams took part in the event, with some citing high registration fees. Peter Obalo, a Kenyan-based international umpire, has called for more women to participate in such tournaments as they help in building their confidence on the field and also in the league participation.
Going forward, I think even in the league, as we are looking forward to starting of the league next week, we need to have such kind of tournaments, such kind of participation, some kind of events. This really brings people together, and then we can see, once hockey is back, we can see more of the action.
I'm hoping that we'll have a good league and that we'll have so many teams registering for the league. Currently, we were promoted to the premier women's team, so I'm hoping, I think it's every ladies team goal to be top 2, because everyone wants to qualify for African Club Championships.
The tournament's top scorers and most valuable players were awarded with hockey miniatures, while the winners got medals as first runners-up took home trophies. Nora Mwangi, Channel 1 Sports.
And that's all the sports news we had for you tonight. It's time for us to wrap up the bulletin, and I'm now joined by Tom and Purity and Betty and the whole team. And Tom, it's really saddening because in the sports world we are crying. The Russia invasion has really created a ripple effect, and most of the sports final events have been cancelled.
Are you serious?
Cancelled or moved to other countries.
By the way, what are some of the unintentional consequences as a result of that war?
It is crazy because
so
just to mention
cancellations?
Cancellations, revocations, but worst of all, now they have to move events from the planned stadiums in Russia to other countries. We have had our first story was the chess Olympiad. It has been moved to India. We have the Champions League final. It was at St. Petersburg. It has moved also to Paris. We had the Russian Grand Prix, the Formula One, which now has to be moved. The Russia soccer teams cannot play matches at home or away. That definitely affects their World Cup. So the ripple effect is crazy. And Purity, you mentioned that they're in talks.
And I actually wanted to ask you, are those decisions final? Because there are talks going on in Belarus, and we hope that they are going to be fruitful and we are going to see mitigation of those ripple effects that we are seeing. I hope it's not final decisions made.
They're final decisions.
Oh wow. Okay, consequences then after math.
Unintended,
we are all products of our choices. So Russia has, they have to swallow this one.
They have to swallow this one. But there's also the question of avocado, as we're still exporting avocados, isn't it?
Oh yeah, Russia is our second largest market after the EU. So stopping that export would be a very big blow to us trade-wise. But considering that we had a ban before, farmers were harvesting unripe avocados. So now that the season is, we already have a batch that is ready to go to Russia, and we are proceeding unless communication comes.
But we hope talks are ongoing. I'm staying positive. I hope maybe day 5 now. So we hope that tomorrow they'll announce something and we continue with our exporting,
Wow. War is not good.
Oh no, it's not.
War is not good.
It's not.
Yeah, Purity and I were having a conversation earlier on, and she was worried that people are walking around without masks. Have they lowered the guard?
Very interesting. I'm sure Karen, Betty, you've seen people walking around. Have you made that observation?
A lot of folks are not wearing their masks.
Even when you enter somewhere, no one is asking anywhere.
And the same thing happened late last year before the Omicron variant. People were we were at 0.something% positivity rate, and so we were lowering our guard, and all of a sudden everyone is coughing, and there's Omicron and everybody is sick. So we're just hoping that until the WHO announces that, we have defeated this virus, and the Minister of Health should also communicate officially to citizens. I don't think we should forget about this. And even as we usher in the new month, let's remember to wash our hands, sanitize, and put on the mask.
And also keep social distance, like we have done here in the studio.
We have to go now.
Good night.
Almost. I'm Purity Museo. Lensa Odingo has been our sign language interpreter tonight. We'll see you again tomorrow, God willing.
On behalf of these girls, good night. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Kupata skiza tune ya Sitoki Jikoni kwenye simu yako, dial *811 *816 hash.
We, umeingiaje kwa hii jikoni?
Wewe achana bwana, wewe ujui tulitokea wapi? Acha hata wewe toka hapa.
Wacha upuzi yako hiyo. Toka nje bwana.
Hii jikoni niko hapa ndani. Na nitakaa hapa ili make decision.
Wacha maneno yako bwana, toka nje bwana. Wewe unajua tulijenga hapa watu wawili hii jikoni.
Wewe kwa wakati nilikuwa naandikishana contract ya kufanya kazi kwa hii jikoni.
Wewe toka bwana, wacha.
Kupata skiza tune hiyo ya Sitoki Jikoni, dial *811 *816 hash.
This week on Good Morning Kenya.
The health system in Siaya has improved greatly.
Yes.
Because previously, before we came in, even child mortality rate was very high.
Governor Kanel Rasanga has steered the county of Siaya for 10 years now.
Did you ever see at some point that the president and Honorable Raila Odinga would shake hands?
I never imagined it.
What is his opinion on national politics?
The way Uhuru has now come to support Raila for presidency, that is a very big mark. That is like rubbing out tribalism completely from in this country.
Join me this Wednesday on The Viewpoint at 7:30 a.m. on Good Morning Kenya, only on KBC Channel 1.
We are still keen on Germany's DFB Pokal as the quarterfinals is around the corner. In football, it is easy to be intimidated by the top flight teams, but as fate would have it, new entrants do sometimes turn the tables with their patience, perseverance, and self-belief.
Borussia Dortmund are out of the competition. St. Pauli take all the spoils.
It is therefore a tight affair this Tuesday, 1st of March 2022 at 10:45 p.m. in a match pitting Union Berlin against FC St. Pauli. Watch this spectacular duel live